Hello, I'm H.E Feakes, Australia's Ambassador for Counter-Terrorism. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Hedayah's 8th Annual International CVE Research Conference, focusing on present and evolving violent extremist threats and challenges. Australia is a proud supporter of Hedayah. We value our close and continuous relationship and shared mission to counter violent extremism. Australia recognises the need to continue to understand and effectively adapt to changes in our domestic and international threat landscapes. Forums such as today's conference play an important role in this adaptation. They underscore that there are recurring root causes of violent extremism that we need to understand, identify and mitigate through effective and complementary efforts. Over the next 3 days, you will examine contemporary CVE challenges, including violent extremism online, extremist exploitation of artificial intelligence and alt-tech, and rehabilitation and reintegration. And together, you'll increase your understanding of some responses, such as the use of strategic communications, the importance of integrating gender-sensitive approaches and perspectives, and the role of child and youth engagement. Australia is concerned about the increasing threat of online radicalisation and is committed to working closely with global partners to counter online terrorism and violent extremism, and to ensure a free, open and secure internet for all. Terrorists and violent extremists exploit the internet to promote their ideology, recruit new members, manage digital training environments, and network with other terrorists and violent extremist organisations. For Australia, while religiously motivated violent extremism, also known as RMVE, remains our predominant threat, the emerging threat posed by ideologically motivated violent extremism, or IMVE, has led to an increase in IMVE-related investigations by Australian security agencies. While RMVE has been a largely urban phenomenon in a small number of Australian cities, the rise in IMVE is seeing the spread of radicalised individuals with disparate ideologies operating online and offline across regional and rural Australia. The IMVE cohort is extremely interconnected with like-minded groups overseas, where ideology, advice, and terrorist capability building guidance are easily shared online. Australia is also concerned about the nexus between online terrorism and violent extremism and youth radicalisation. Terrorists and violent extremists are increasingly using digital platforms popular with young people, including gaming-associated platforms such as Discord and Twitch, to identify, groom, and radicalise vulnerable individuals. The number of minors being radicalised is getting higher, and the age of those minors being radicalised is getting lower. In 2022, the Australian Government announced a significant additional investment in Australia's CVE programs. This funding expanded CVE intervention programs into rural and regional areas. It established community engagement grants to improve awareness of violent extremism and referral options, and it also boosted strategic communications programs that rebut extremist narratives. Like Hedayah and all of you here today, we also stress the importance of CVE research. In 2022, the Countering Violent Extremism Centre of Excellence for Research, Risk Assessment and Training was established to drive CVE research, support national capability in violent extremism risk assessment, and coordinate nationally consistent CVE training for frontline officials. Finally, we welcome opportunities to discuss ways to embed gender in our efforts to prevent and counter violent extremism and terrorism. Addressing terrorism without attending to gender inequalities is dangerous because we fail to see and respond to causes and risks. Misogyny underpins many supremacist faith and politically motivated ideologies. Diversity, inclusion and equity are critical to counter and prevent terrorism. We must prioritise gender equality, including the full and equal and meaningful participation of women in this work. We know that without including women, girls and gender diverse people in our efforts, whether at the national, regional or international level, we will ultimately fail to safeguard our communities. As members of an interconnected global community, we must remain united in the face of challenges posed by groups and individuals who seek to do us harm. The role you play in countering terrorism and violent extremism is vital, and I encourage you all to find practical ways to take these issues forward over the coming 3 days. I wish you all a very fruitful conference.